A couple of weeks back, I talked about how Marvel Comics were absolutely bending comic book shop owners over and taking advantage of them. And there was recently an article from bleedingcool.com. Basically, it's a newsletter from comic book store owner Rod Lamberti, who owns Rodman Comics in Iowa. It's called Comic Store in Your Future. If you're going to read what are the online newsletters from comic store owners, this is the one I personally think is the best one. There's one on ICV2.com, which is basically like Mark Ruffalo if he owned a comic book shop, which is just nonsense. Obviously, you have Tilting at Windmills on The Beat from Brian Hibbs, which is interesting sometimes, but mostly it's him bitching about nothing. The article I'm going to talk about today is called Is This Business or Craziness? Basically where Rod Lamberti layeth the smacketh down on Marvel Comics' candy ass and their very stupid business practices. He does mention the foil variant cover stuff that I talked about earlier, but a whole host of other things that aren't working for Marvel Comics in his comic book shop. Very interesting stuff. He starts out saying, back issues are red hot sellers. People want to buy comics. I bought an Amazing Spider-Man collection from the 70s and 80s a few weeks ago, and those are flying out the door almost as fast as I can get them priced. I wish we could get more Iron Man and Hulk issues into the comic store from the 70s and 80s. We have customers who want them. They move on in a hurry if and when I manage to get more in. And that is because people really do like comic books. They actually like DC and Marvel comic book characters. They want to read them. They want to read the stuff that they missed out on because they don't want to read the crap that Marvel Comics are actually putting out these days. So local comic shop owners like Rod Lamberti have to go out of their way to find old comics that were published upwards of 50 and 40 years ago just to have product their customers actually want to read now, because Marvel Comics have absolutely lost touch with their core audience. I don't know, guys in between the ages of 30 and 50 that really like superheroes. But somehow Marvel Comics has managed to actually take this and make people more interested in stuff that was created 40 and 50 years ago. That's because they're absolute morons. Then he goes into more detail about what's going on with current comic books from Marvel Comics. You remember the death of Miss Marvel? That was a big deal, right? That was going to drive a lot of traffic into comic shops that are going to sell lots of comics. Rod Lamberti has his story about that. New comic sales here in the comic store are increasingly slowing down. The recent death of Miss Marvel and Amazing Spider-Man was not a big deal at the store. A few people picked it up just for the death, though not many. I over-ordered it. And I imagine a lot of local comic shops actually over-ordered Amazing Spider-Man 26, which was supposed to be the most hated issue of Spider-Man, in modern history. The most hated thing that was going to happen in Amazing Spider-Man since Gwen Stacy died. Gwen Stacy, the love interest of Peter Parker, actually pretty pivotal to Amazing Spider-Man at that time. Pretty ballsy on the part of Stan Lee, Marvel Comics, and Jerry Conway to even go through with it. That's how big of a deal that was. So what do Marvel Comics actually do to go and back that up? They kill off Miss Marvel, a character that is not over and hasn't been for a very long time, in a book she has nothing to do with. She has nothing to do with Amazing Spider-Man. Yes, she's a co-star every once in a while in Miles Morales Spider-Man, but has nothing to do with the one where she actually got murdered in. So yeah, a couple of people showed up and said, well, I watched a couple of YouTube videos and they said this was good spec stuff. Maybe I should go pick up a couple of issues. And that was about it. Actual Spider-Man fans didn't care. Marvel Comics fans didn't care. Miss Marvel fans, well, she doesn't have any, but they likely didn't care either. Miles Morales fans didn't care. No one cared. They never set up the death. There was no big payoff to this. It was just publicity hunting, and nobody falls for any of these stupid stunts anymore. Marvel Comics could kill off Peter Parker, and no one would take it seriously at this point. Yet I'm supposed to somehow hate this issue of Amazing Spider-Man 26? Where they kill off a character that no one cares about, and then Thanos snap away a couple of kids that I absolutely hate. Zeb Wells' run on Amazing Spider-Man absolutely sucks balls. That's why no one was interested, because there was nothing about the story that anyone ever actually bought into, and they thought, well, let's just throw some gimmickry on there. It's Amazing Spider-Man. That'll be a big deal, right? No, it won't be a big deal. There's a huge disconnect between Marvel Comics and what actual comic book readers want. They want good stories featuring their favorite heroes with really kick-ass art, with really fun, vibrant universes where they can have fun and a little bit of escapism. Marvel Comics haven't been providing that in years, and people don't care anymore. The latest issues of Iron Man and Hulk are low sellers. The characters have fans, but few are interested in their latest adventures. Marvel had some odd marketing strategies. Avengers, the main title, did not sell well. So what does Marvel do? It comes off with so many spin-offs, people are confused. Avengers Beyond, Avengers War Across Time, Avengers All-Out War, and Avengers Forever. Now, with the first two titles he was talking about, obviously Christopher Can't Write Well basically destroyed Iron Man and any interest in him. That was left over for when Dan Slott basically destroyed the character. You're going to have to actually put somebody good on the book if you're going to make Tony Stark Iron Man sales viable again. And Jerry Duggan just ain't going to cut it. He's fucking Jerry Duggan. That's who he is, and he'll never be better. As far as the Hulk, there really wasn't anything Marvel Comics could do. They put their most exciting, highest-selling comic book writer on the book, and for quite some time, Donny Cates and Hulk were doing quite well as far as sales. They were consistently in the top 10, even in the top 5, I think, most of the time, so it was actually working. It's just unfortunate what happened with Donny Cates. He basically lost his mind, and who knows where he is at this point. He's out there writing some weird indie books that no one likes. As far as the Avengers, they put Jason Aaron on the title, and he comes up with a stupid concept, Avengers 10 billion BC, 10 million BC, whatever it was. It was absolutely dumb. Nobody wanted that. Yeah, it's a cool cover for a comic book, like a variant cover, but as an actual story, absolutely sucked. Doesn't go anywhere with that, at least initially. Actually has a pretty good start to his Avengers run, crosses it over into Thor War of the Realms that he'd been leading up to for 8 goddamn years. The book goes to shit and never recovers, and he does everything that he could possibly think of, throws it at the wall, and hopes that it sticks. We've got the new Starbread. We've got a Phoenix Force tournament. Now we've got Avengers Assemble with Avengers from Jason Aaron, which sucked, so nobody was reading it. With Avengers Forever, which sucked because Jason Aaron was writing that one as well. And then Avengers Beyond, which I don't even know what that one was. I never even tasted that one. I don't even know what the goddamn book was about. Jason Aaron's Avengers run sucked. So they doubled and tripled down to lead into an event that they probably had planned from the beginning, but never actually warranted being executed. Yes, you could have big plans for the future, but when people flat out reject the writer and his run and what he's doing, you actually can't follow through on the event and hope that people get excited. See also whatever was happening with Captain America and the stupid Cold War event they just got doing that you didn't even know was happening because nobody reads those books either. Somehow Marvel Comics in 2023 are worse run than DC Comics. DC Comics were absolutely at the bottom of the barrel just like 9 months ago. But at least they've got a few exciting titles now. What is Marvel producing that is actually good quality right now? Moon Knight, in continuity. That's the only one I can think of. Ghost Rider sometimes is pretty darn good, but it's pretty uneven at that. Everything involving the X-Men absolutely sucks. Everything involving Spider-Man absolutely sucks. Oh, those are only their A-list characters. Hulk obviously has fallen down. Thor has fallen down because of what happened to Donny Cates. And basically, Marvel Comics readers have been left with nothing. Thus, comic retailers like Rod Lamberti have actually nothing to provide their customers who still want to read the characters, but they refuse to read the garbage that Marvel Comics are putting out now. He does go into this foil variant story, and you can tell he is not very happy about this. Days before the cutoff to order the foil reprint of Wolverine's first appearance in Hulk 181, Penguin showed the discount for stores ordering it at 50%. While it's still being reported, that is not the case. I just double-checked Penguin, and it still says 50% off. I feel bad for the comic stores who ordered it thinking they were getting it for half off the cover price and then getting a bill showing no discount. This also puts comic stores in a bad situation. We can change the price, so selling Marvel foil variants is profitable by bagging and importing them and setting a new price on them. Then we can listen to people get angry that something that was just released was raised above cover price because they will assume they were bought with the store's regular discount factored in. To make it even more confusing, most of Marvel's various foil covers have no discounts from the cover price, while one does have a discount. When ordering Star Wars Dark Droids #1 foil variant, stores get a 16% discount. Why? Who came up with that idea, and again, why? Well, you know who came up with that idea. David Gabriel, the worst marketing professional in all of entertainment. David Gabriel goes out of his way every single year to screw comic book shop owners out of their money in a new inventive way every single year. This year, it's the foil variant cover with no discount unless you're ordering Dark Droids #1. And it absolutely sucks that Penguin Random House aren't showing the actual price to the retailer on their website, and people are thinking that they're getting this for a different price than they're actually going to pay. It's not like they're going to go back and like, you know what? That's what we advertise it as. We'll give you that price. No, they're just going to charge it for them anyway, and they're going to have to upcharge all these to their actual customers who are going to be livid when they see the cover price and that they're being charged $3 to $4 extra because the comic book shop owners absolutely got screwed in all of this. is bullshit. And if I were in the shoes of Rod Lamberti or Yul Carter or any of the comic book shop owners out there, and I wrote a newsletter, I wouldn't be so nice about it as Mr. Lamberti was here. Yes, he did lay the smackdown on Marvel Comics and their business practices, but he's still pretty genial about it. I would be furious. I would be so fucking mad. The newsletter itself would likely be unpublishable by the amount of F-bombs and other expletives and probably just calling out people by name and what they did, like in the newsletter. That's how mad I would be. Because Marvel Comics, whether it's on purpose or not, are trying to put local comic book shops out of business. They're giving them product that nobody wants to buy. And when they do have a product that people might want to buy, like a foil variant cover, they're absolutely bending them over and taking it to them with no lube. This is Marvel's standard operating procedure. Now, if you want some more information and my initial reaction to that foil variant cover scheme that they were doing, you should check this video out right here. I go absolutely red west on this one. I was furious. I'm still pissed off about this. If you haven't seen this video, definitely check it out right now. There's also a link in the video description.